Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs from all over the world, please make welcome the truth guy, Mr. Home-Based Business himself. The man of the hour, everyone's favorite, Kerry Miller.
And it is Monday. Hey, welcome everybody, man. I tell you what, I cannot believe how fast this year has gone. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to think how fast this year has passed by. And I was thinking about how people make New Year's resolutions and they do all that stuff, and about January the 3rd or 4th, they totally forget about that New Year's resolution. And then it made me start thinking, and what made me start thinking about it is I made a post on Saturday, I think, on Saturday, and about joining the master class, and there was only 8 seats available. And I know a lot of people think, oh, when they see that, there's 5,000 seats available. He's just saying that to get people to sign up. No, there is actually only 8 seats available. And that 8 seats filled up in less than 14 hours. And I was so excited about that. I mean, when you do something, you never know how things are going to turn out. And you never know what's going to happen. And you never, you think about it, you say, man, is it going to happen or is it not going to happen? But I'm so thankful. And I have emailed the people and they have their links and we're going to do it on Thursday night. And I'm excited about that because I love teaching people how to build a home-based business. I think it's extremely important to build a home-based business, especially in today's economy. And so tonight, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. And that simple question is this. If you want to start a home-based business, are you prepared? Are you prepared to start your home-based business? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Starting a home-based business is the hardest thing you ever do. By far, the hardest thing you will ever do. And we're going to talk about those things tonight. First, we're going to talk about why should you start a home-based business and what makes it so hard. And if you could actually work from home, and I think that's the biggest reason some people don't. And the downside and the upside. And you say, well, Kerry, I've got a question for you. If you're such a big proponent of home-based business, why would you share the downside? Why not be positive and share it? Because you need to understand the downside. You need to understand that there are consequences to every single thing you do. Not everything is a bed of roses. And I know that we watch crap on Facebook and we read all these books that, pretty much tell us, oh, well, you just do this and let me tell you something. Everything has a stumbling block. I don't care what it is. Every single thing has a stumbling block. And you have to realize that. You have to understand that, if you take an opportunity and you go for it, you're not going to just run to the finish line, get a gold medal, and everything's going to be great. It just doesn't work that way. I wish it did. Now, some of us have an easier path, but it's not because we're any different or any better than anyone. It's because we're more disciplined. You're more disciplined to get to where you want to go. So in tonight's episode, we're going to talk about why should you start a home-based business. I think it's extremely important to understand where we are today in today's market. I made a post the other day that I actually read in Forbes magazine about the, whatever you call this, Black Friday sales, holiday sales, where the majority of sales was online. I mean, it's up, I don't know, I can't remember the numbers, but it's phenomenal. And brick and mortar businesses are off extremely bad. And that's because people have learned to shop another way. A lot of people say, well, it's because of COVID. Well, yes, it is. But what did COVID do? COVID changed our direction, and literally in what, 7, 8 months, taught us how to live differently, taught us how to actually live more efficiently. If you think about it, before we would spend, $30 running around all day. And by the time you buy lunch and dinner, and I know that stuff is fun. I enjoy doing it. I go out, I do those things. But I'm not a go out shopping guy. I'm a buy online shopping guy. I have it delivered to my door exactly what I want. I don't go in and fight all the crowds. And a lot of people have realized that, hey, I can go online and order, have it dropped right to my door. And guess what? I don't have to go fight the crowds. I can take that $25 that I was going to spend in gas shopping all day, and I can buy something else. So we've learned to manage our money. We've learned to manage our time, and we've learned that shopping online is really a great way to do that. I would not start a brick and mortar business today, and I put that in my post. And man, people just literally like, what? You know, being an entrepreneur just doesn't mean that you're going to go out and open a brick and mortar business. It just doesn't mean that, you know. I think the smart thing to do today, and maybe it's because I'm a home business owner, maybe I'm a home-based business owner, and I enjoy it and I like it and I enjoy what I'm doing. And I wake up and I'm at home and I'm at work, but that's not the reason to do it. The reason to start a home-based business is because you're passionate. You have a passion to do what you want to do. You have a passion to give back. You have a passion to take whatever you're doing to help others grow, to help others shop better, to help others get better products. There's one thing, if you're running a home-based business, don't sell crap products. Don't try to get rich overnight. Run a legitimate, top of the line business where your customers are going to come back and shop over and over and over and over again. Because remember, we've been teaching you about what? Monthly recurring revenue. Creating revenue that you make over and over and over again every month from what you do today. So why a home-based business? For me, because it allows me the freedom, the time freedom to do exactly what I want to do when I want to do it and how I want to do it. But most importantly, it allows me to give back to others. That's why I love working from home. That's why I enjoy doing what I do. That's why I enjoy waking up every morning and hitting the ground running. I got up. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. You say, "Gosh, Kerry, what kind of home business is that?" When you have obligations and you work from home, you have to meet those obligations. Just because you work at home doesn't mean that you're lazy and you sit back and you do nothing and you don't make anything happen. You have to make things happen. And so next we're going to talk about, can you work from home? Because I'm going to tell you, this is the toughest part and the number one reason that home businesses fail. It's not because they have bad products. It's not because they have a bad plan. It's because they can't work from home. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Hit the wrong button there. What do you think about that, guys?
Thank you for being a part of the Truth Guy broadcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at KerryMillerTV. And of course, listen to the Truth Guy podcast on the go at thetruthguypodcast.com. And now welcome back your host, Mr. Home-Based Business himself, the Truth Guy, Kerry Miller.
Now I want you to ask yourself this. Can you work from home? What does it take to work from home? What does it truly mean to work from home? First off, you have to be disciplined. Are you disciplined enough to work from home? When you wake up in the morning, you actually get to work, you make things happen, you build your business, you work your business. You don't work till noon and say, "Oh, well, I work for myself, so I'm going to go do something else." No, you actually, literally, your time 110% of it has to be focused on your business. You can't just meander around and do the things that you think you can do just because you work from home. You have to focus on your business. Can you work from home? Can you go to bed at night and say, you know what, I've got to get up at 3:30 in the morning, and oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. You know, can you work from home? Can you make it happen for yourself? Can you do the things that you have to do to run a successful business? Maybe it means meeting someone at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. And you've got to meet that person, and you've got to go out and sell that product, or whatever you're doing. You have to take it to them. You have to show it to them. And it's going to mean getting home at 8 or 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then you have to do what? You have to get back up at 6 o'clock the next morning. Excuse me. Working from home is tough. It's probably one of the hardest things that most people do not believe they will ever do. But it's tough. It's hard. Why? Because we're not disciplined. Think about this for a moment. All of our lives we've been taught to do what? Work for someone else. Our entire life we've been taught to work for someone else. And when we go out and we work for someone else, we don't have to think for ourselves. I mean, we literally become a robot of that company. They say, be here at 8 o'clock. We know exactly what time we have to get up. We know exactly how long it takes to make a cup of coffee. We know exactly how long it takes to put the toast in a toaster, the butter on the toast, the jelly on the toast, walk out the door with a donut in our hand, get in the car, exactly what it takes, to get there. We are programmed to do exactly what the place where we work, the company we work for, we are programmed to do exactly what they tell us to do. When you work for yourself, when you work at home and you are the boss, you have to be disciplined enough to listen to yourself and say, hey, I've got to get up in the morning. I've got to make this happen. I've got to make $1,000 tomorrow. I've got XYZ going out this week. I've got to make money, and then we kind of get flustered and we get scared and we go rolling off the rails. And it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How am I going to make this happen? Well, you got to calm yourself down. Just like you would if you were working your job, except there, are you really responsible for anything? I mean, how many times do you get to screw up at work? And I know some jobs, if you screw up, you're gone the first bit. But in today's society, people screw up over and over and again, and businesses are afraid to fire. You're not the only person you're going to fire is yourself. The only person you're going to take out of the game is yourself. So it's hard to work from home. And you have to ask yourself that question. Can I work from home? Some of us can, some of us can't. Some people try and they realize it's tougher than they ever thought it would be. They have to be disciplined, and most people don't have the discipline it takes to work from home. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be back, and we're going to close out with the downside and the upside. Yes, there are many, many downsides. Downsides that you won't even think about. And there's so many upsides that will literally allow you to do exactly what you want to do when you want to do it. Be your own boss, take care of yourself, and literally live a life that most people only dream of. We'll be back here in just about 30 seconds.
Thank you for being a part of the Truth Guy broadcast. We look forward seeing you Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time as Kerry shares his insight in helping you build your dream and success. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at KerryMillerTV. And of course, listen to the Truth Guy podcast on the go at thetruthguypodcast.com. And now welcome back your host, Mr. Home-Based Business himself, the Truth Guy, Kerry Miller.
And here we go. This is when you realize that, golly, man, It is tough. It's truly tough. We talked about why a home-based business, and you notice it starts off with the old word that I love more than anything. What is your why? Why a home-based business? What's the real reason you want a home-based business? So you have to figure that out. I can't figure that out for you. That's something you have to figure out. That's a path that you have to take. And the next question was, can you work from home? What are the downsides from working from home? Well, first and foremost, you don't have a steady paycheck. Ooh, you've got to make your own way. Somebody's not going to cut you a check on Friday and you spend it by Monday and you're broke again. No, you have to create your own way. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to take you by the hand and say, hey, you've got to do this today. You got to do this today. You got to do this today. Oh, come in and punch a clock and then you're going to get paid, $10 an hour or whatever it is you get paid. No, it doesn't work that way. You don't accomplish what you're set out to do and you don't make any money. And guess what? You don't get a paycheck. Huge downside, right? Because once again, it goes back to being programmed. We are programmed to be employees and collect a check. And some people say, well, Kerry, I make $65,000 a year. Why don't you make $165,000 a year? I walked away from a job that was paying me exceptional money, walked away from it and said, I'm not doing it anymore because I'm tired of making them money when I could be making myself that same amount of money because I was disciplined. I could do it. I could make it happen. But what happens is people are afraid to cut themselves loose from the PAYCHECK from the JOB. And as long as you're afraid to do that, as long as you're afraid to cut yourself loose, you're never going to be a real entrepreneur. It's not going to happen because you will always answer to someone else, an employer, me. You're working for me, you're answering to me. I mean, people will always be employees because they cannot make a decision to work for themselves. They cannot work from home and they cannot cut themselves loose from that guaranteed paycheck. But let me tell you something. Is it really guaranteed? How many people right now, a year ago, had a guaranteed paycheck and today they have nothing? How many people? 20 million, 30 million, whatever the number is today. Millions of people who felt secure a year ago who said, I don't need to have a plan B. I don't need to work for myself. I don't need to start a side hustle. I don't need to make it happen. Where are they at today? Hoping and praying that the government will bail them out and support them for 2 or 3 months. Is that who you really want to put all your stake into? Is the government to bail you out with $1,200 or $2,000 stimulus check? You say, well, gosh, Kerry, that's a lot of money. That is nothing. How many of you still have that $1,200 stimulus check if you actually got one from 2 or 3 months ago? Nobody. You blew that in 5 minutes. Why? Because you weren't disciplined. You're supposed to pay your bills with that, but you didn't. Why do you want to be a slave to a paycheck? That's the downside. What's the upside? You can literally do anything you want, when you want, how you want, if you're disciplined enough to manage your business. You can make as much money as you want, as often as you want, if you manage your business. You can literally go from 0 to 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures if you manage your business. At your JOB, if the cap at that company for your position is $60,000 a year, you're never going to make more than $60,000 a year. When you cap, you cap because they cannot afford just to give money away. But you can afford to go out and make as much money as you humanly possibly can. That's the upside. It's called freedom. Freedom to be who you want to be, when you want to be, and do what you want to do. That's why I do what I did. That's why I love being an entrepreneur. Tomorrow night, we're going to carry on this conversation. I'm going to take you down a path this week. I'm going to take you on a journey. And by the end of this week, you're going to say, you know what? That's what I want. This is what I want. And then next week, we're going to start talking about how you get there. This week, you're going to make a decision. This is what I want. I want to have a successful home-based business. And I know it's going to be tough and I know it's going to be hard, but I can do it. And that's what we want to talk about. And that's where we're going to take you. And we're going to show you how to do it. We're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to lead you how to do it. And when you do it, you're going to be so amazed and so excited that you will want to do one thing and one thing only. Teach somebody else how to do it. Everybody have a great evening. Good night. God bless. And I'll see you tomorrow night right here on The Truth Guy. That's 7 o'clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs from all over the world, please make welcome the Truth Guy, Mr. Home-Based Business himself. The man of the hour, everyone's favorite, Kerry Miller.